Hi there, Jason here with another Robinson's Ramble. Thank you so much for having a look at my second guide that I'm putting on here. Thank you very much. It's always most appreciated. I hope it does provide a bit of insight for these walks that I'm trying to do. I say selected, but yeah, they're suitable for sort of beginning to intermediates, and hopefully it will prove an insightful walk for you and the benefits it can provide for you. Now, my dad's old walk for Gummers How didn't actually involve getting up Gummers How itself. It's an easy little 5-mile walk, but what I will do for this is put Gummers How in. I'll walk up the peak as well, and you can see which ones would be most suitable for yourself. That's the idea. I do have one on here that does involve visiting a pub. Hopefully it's open, fingers crossed. And I have noticed today, coming up the A6 and the A6, the M6 and the A590, it's it's many different weathers today, so we'll see how we go. I've got my microphone because it is a bit windy out there, so hopefully you can hear me. But yes, here we go. Gummers How walk. Hope you enjoy. Thank you. If you're going by car, making your way to Gummers How from the M6 is very straightforward. Getting off at junction 36, you proceed onto the A591, then off the A590 turn-off. From there, continue on the 590 until you pass Newby Bridge service station. Past the service station there's a roundabout, which you'll need to take the second exit taking you onto the A592. Carry on that road for just under a mile and you'll see a right turn going uphill. Take that, driving up the hill until you find Gummers How car park about 3/4 of a mile up the road on your right. Considering this video is about 3 separate walks in the same area, I thought I'd try and explain with some maps. So, the full route I'm walking today is over 8 miles, but it can easily be broken into 2 separate easier routes. The route I took takes you through Sow Farm, then you go left at Height Road until Cartmel Fells Church, then up the small but steep peak of Ravens Barrow. From there, I went back down the road, turned left for a bit of road walking until Smithy Lane, then another left at Mason's Arms, then just round that corner you continue, giving you an uphill road walk for just under a mile, and then I started on the footpaths going up Gummers How. The other routes are shorter and easier. If you take the original route, for example, as far as Ravens Barrow, you can continue over the fields there, which will take you back to the farm, which is about 5 miles. Or if you just want to do Gummers How, you can continue up the road from the car park for just over a mile, and you can do a pleasant circular of the peak from there. Entirely up to you. As my dad always said, there is no prize for first place. Well, I'm just going to do a mic test before we get moving on, because yes, the wind is picking up already, and I have ordered a gimbal, but with the wind it might be a little bit juddery today, but we're going to be all right because we've come prepared. Have a look down here in my bag, as well as a nice bit of food, some little chickeny bits. I brought a cagoule just in case it gets a cagoule. Yes, a bit of a light waterproof anyway. But I mean, as soon as you get into the car park, you've got a gorgeous view coming over there, which I'll do a nice little panning shot for later on. So yes, let's get started, shall we? Now, straight off the bat, you already get a gorgeous view. Come round here, and Gummers How, just past the trees there. But the first bit of this walk is a bit of an incline, but it's a good way to stretch off the hamstrings before you start. So, let's get going. It's only a short walk, but we're up at the peak bit of the road walk just at the beginning, and I've noticed over the years round here the tree line has changed dramatically. I mean, we've got the young saps here, that used to be all trees. Car coming, keep to one side. There we go. And there's been a lot of forestation, of course, for chopping down the old to make way for the new. And I think the last time I was here, it might have been a year or two back, I know I did a walk up here in December 2019, and this used to be all just saplings, but over here, but they've grown quite a bit up there. They certainly have. Right, up to a junction point for you now, so you can decide which way yourself, which way you want to go. So this is where I've just come from, and it's up to you where you want to go from here. A Chapel House Wood sign, and once you go down here, you can either, just make sure I'm not going to get run over, follow that road, and then again, if you've got like a sat-nav app or you have OS maps, have a check. There's a left turn up there, and if you just want to do the Gummershow Peak itself, you can do that. I'm going to do sort of a 3-in-1, and I'm going to go down this way towards a lovely farm and some other lovely landscape. So if you've got time, you could do this one. And extending it takes about 7.5 miles. But yeah, it is up to you where you want to go, left or right. The two main reasons why I'm doing these guides is A, just to show people that I might not be too familiar with the Lake District of where to go, and B, what benefits it can provide for some mental well-being, because trust me, you're not on your own. I did need this walk today. I was planning to do it anyway, because it was one of the other staples of my dad's routes that he used to do. So I was looking forward to do it again, and checking the forecast, and it's like my one day off of the week, so I was able to get up fortunately on a Tuesday, so it was nice and quiet. But yeah, well, what I do for a living anyway, I'm a wedding toastmaster, and I also host quizzes and discos, karaoke's and the like anyway. And I hosted a quiz last night, which was all good. It went well. We had a bit of laugh, a bit of banter, but it's I don't know, got me coming home feeling a little well, lonely, to be fair. I'm a 42-year-old slightly balding bachelor, and yeah, so I got back home alone. So there's highs and lows, but I mean, I love what I do, absolutely love what I do, and I'm glad I'm able to do it. Very, very thankful to be able to do it. But yeah, with the ups, there's the downs. So to be fair, I felt, yeah, kind of lonely when I got back home last night. So it was just thinking, come hell or high water, I can get out and do this walk and see all of this. And it's helping. I know when I did the little Langdale walk, I was a little bit frustrated with the technology I had. A little bit. But we'll see how we go today. It is a new camera, so if the picture looks a bit different, or better hopefully. And then the next one, I bought a cheap gimbal. I don't know why I'm pulling that face when I say gimbal, but yeah. So hopefully the walk will look a little bit steadier, because I'm walking at the moment and I see so yeah, hopefully we'll just improve upon what I've got so far. And then if it comes further down the line, then I've got a fancy GoPro and a massive microphone and everything. I'll revisit the old ones and yeah, do them again. I won't plug in my mic for this, but just have a listen. Not bad, is it? So we're going to continue this way. It's just a little bit of a woodland road to get through before we are turning left and continuing on with our walk. With getting to the end of Sow Hell Lane, you'll meet up with Heights Road. It's just a simple matter of getting through the gate, turning left and continuing on with your walk. This part of the walk's only about half a mile of road walking, and then it leads you up to the junction where you can see how to get to Cartmel Fell. So, stopping at another junction, always handy to show you, just so you don't get too lost, and I'm trying to explain quite clearly where the guide is, hopefully. We've just been walking from there. We've come from that part of the road. There is a footpath, if you do want to wander off for a little bit extra, that leads up to this point here, the Kettle Grid. And we're about to make our way to Cartmel Fell on this junction here. Again, you can go down there if you want, but I'm trying to do 3 walks in one here, so I'm going to take the quicker route. And where are we going to venture at Cartmel Fell? To the church! You can continue along that road if you want, otherwise there is a little footpath, and I always prefer walking on something soft where I can, so off I go. Cartmel Fell Church is very well signposted to get to anyway. From the footpath, of course, we've got a sign going from the church, and we're just going to make our way that way. Yes, I actually used a time lapse for this bit. I mean, come on, do you think I can walk this fast? And here we are. Cartmel Fell Parish Hall. And on the way through these gates, the prettiest little church you ever did see. There you are. I will give you some information about the church, of course, but just have a quick check when this bird flies out the doorway. Whee! St. Anthony's Church is definitely worth a visit while you're on this walk. It did start off life being built in around 1504 as a chapel of ease to Cartmel Priory, and had later extensions, including this vestry from 1698. And it is a building just steeped in history. And under the tower is a baptistry containing a plain round font dated 1712. Of course, they do accept donations, and I saw there was a contactless one that I just waved my card over and gave a little donation for such a majestic building. It was time to move on though, and away from the church going uphill. Just on the left there's a footpath that will take you on towards Ravensborough. Okay, so we've just come from St. Anthony's Church at Cartmel Fell. That's just behind us here. If you're not too bothered about churches, it's each to their own, of course. You can come from this way. I'm about to proceed on in a few short moments up here, but first there is the part A, or route 1 of it, is getting up this little peak just to see how much of this view we can see behind me at a elevated level. Let's have a look. If it's one you don't fancy doing, of course you can go straight along the road and towards the Mason's Arms, a little bit flatter that way. But if you do want a bit of a view before we get up to the peak of Gummers How, there's this little peak. But as you can hear by my breathing, I thought I was fit. Yeah, it's a wee bit of an incline, but well worth it once you get up there. I used to clamber up there easy peasy when I was a teenager. Not so easy when you're 42. But here we are up on the peak anyway. I'll tell you what, I'll just change the camera around my mush all the time. So, we've got Gummers How straight ahead. I'll try and protect the microphone at the same time. And then you got an absolutely gorgeous vista with Cartmel Fell just below us. And Cairn, then over to the Morecambe Bay estuary. You can see Arnside and Sandside around that neck of the woods. I don't know how well, I'm not going to focus into it, but you can see the Arnside Viaduct around there. And it's absolutely stunning. So just to give you a helping hand of where to go from Route A. So there's the peak that we were at just a moment ago. If you follow this track, it is a track, I promise. You carry on that way towards that wood. That's where that Quakers Meeting House you walk past. And as I said, during the winter months, it does get a little bit wet under there as well. It's probably fine now, doing this in May, but onward now. back down that there hill. Yay.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've never enjoyed going downhill, particularly on the steep sections. But do remember, it is not a style competition. You're not going to get extra points. So here's a handy little tip.
Here's a tip for you while going downhill. Side foot it. Just go sideways like that. Because although I've got some nice sturdy boots on, it hurts my toes when you're going frontwards like that. So, yes, while going downhill, side foot it. Yeah, you look like a pillock, but it's a little bit safer. Right, we're back down from Cartmelfeld Peak. We'll call it Cartmelfeld Peak until I have a look at an OS map. So we are back down. Church is that way. I'm going to go onwards this way. See if a certain public house is open.
Getting to the end of the road, you'll reach Smithy Lane. It's a left uphill turn from there, and there you will reach the Mason's Arms.
And a quick walk up the road. And look what we found. A car about to run me over. No, I'll be safe. Good old Mason's Arms.
Always worth using as a pit stop if you're in this neck of the woods. The Mason's Arms is everything you want from an inn dating back to the 16th century, filled with loads of rustic charm and surrounded by beautiful countryside and a food and drink menu that's filled with locally sourced produce. So with knowing that I was about halfway around the walk at the time, it was a good time to have a bit of a pit stop myself, have some Lakeland cider and enjoy the beautiful surroundings. With a slight respite being done, I knew it was time to get moving, because from here on out, the only way is up.
Now, I will warn you, after leaving the Mason's Arms, however, you get round the corner, and there is a bit of an incline, so if you've stopped for more than one, I would suggest stretch those legs again before you get up here. Just a heed of a warning, that's all. Right then, so we have made it up the rather steep incline from Mason's Arms. So I would recommend that for the intermediates rather than beginners, because it's a little way up. A little way up. And you come to this sort of junction where the timber lorries, there's a lot of plantations around here, as we noticed at the beginning of the route, where they turn up here. And the way back to the car, if you didn't want to go up to Gummers How, is straight along that road. But what we're going to do is go wherever we came back from. I just want to demonstrate where this junction was, so you know where it is. So again, the car is parked that road up there, and you just need to have a little walk from where the lorries turn in to pick the timber up. Yeah, that was a hell of a hill. I wasn't expecting that. But a little bit further on, you'll see where the public footpath is. Just here. There we go. And this is where we start our route onto the peak of Gummers How.
So if you're keeping up with which route is which, this is the third route, going from the car park along the road for about a mile, then taking this footpath and taking the circular around the peak.
What you will notice on the walk going up to Gummers How is a lot more deforestation than it had a few years back. Now I started, I think the first note, well, when I first noticed this myself, it was about 2019 or so, and it's all for good reason. As I mentioned at the earlier part of the walk, they cut down the old so they can plant the new. So if you're wondering what's going on, that is what is occurring. And a lot of these, of course, there's a lot of storm damage over the past few years, so you might see, well, you will see a lot of routes getting up and about. But you've also been very kindly provided a nice little bridge to get over the marsh. I nearly fell in there, that was close.
get you onward up to the peak. Even before you get to the top of Gummershow, you are just treated with a plethora of different beautiful views. So if you do take this walk, I am flattered that you are taking it hopefully with this guide. And also at the same time, you have the time just to stop and just take in the scenery where you can. Don't take it as a mission. Just enjoy what you can where you can. It comes to junction time. So, fallen tree at the moment. If you want to get to Gummershow and you pass here, it is a left turn through the mud. It sounds like a family's just come up from Gummershow and onwards to this way. So, yeah, it's a bit of an obstacle course, but I'm sure you can make it. So, we got to this point. I've done a silly little clip, but I'll just put that on my own personal profile. I won't do it here, but it wasn't bravado. What it was, just getting this stream here, me being happy. And again, this is why I come up to Lake District. It just clears my head. And I know I was saying at the beginning of the route I was feeling a bit lonely last night, but honestly I feel so much better now. And yeah, weirdly enough, happy at this period of time. Isn't that nice? Do it yourself, you know, you never know. One of my favourite parts of the walk now, come to a woodland area just before you get to the peak of Gummershow. Well worth a visit, and make sure you got sturdy footwear because it can be a bit damp underfoot. The thing is, with such serenity, you've got to make sure you're aware of your footing, as it's it's a bit like this. We're just coming out to the woodland walk portion of getting up to Gummershow, coming from the rear side, as it were, and yeah, it's a bit of a walk, so I've just realised I better film a little bit more, otherwise you think, oh, it's just there to there, it's easy peasy. There's still a little bit more to do, particularly navigating all of that as well. There has been a significant amount of storm damage all around the Lake District, and yeah, the Gummershow route is no exception, so please mind your footing, make sure you keep yourself safe, and don't get any splinters while navigating the trees. Yeah, that's been there for years. I don't know why that's there. But yes, onwards to the open plains of Gummershow. Last stretch of the walk now, and because it is a bit of a peak, there are some slightly windy conditions, as my tripod wanted to demonstrate while doing this little static shot. Thanks, tripod. If you're wondering why I'm out of breath, it's because I'm trying to get up here quite quickly. Reason being, I just realised that my phone battery's on 24%, so best rush. So yes, nearly at the summit of the How. Don't you want to see how it looks? Sure you do, once I get through the woodland area. Again, a couple of trees to navigate, but yeah, that's why I'd say this is more of an intermediate walk. Yeah. Very nearly there, but I noticed there is a keeper of the peak. However, he seems to be a little bit distracted with some self-grooming. So, let's do this. So after trying to demonstrate 3 separate walks around the Gummershow area, I finally made it to the peak, 321 metres above sea level on the east coast of Windermere. And am I happy? I'm alright. Why not? We have made it on the top of Gummershow. Quite a lengthy walk, doing 3 in 1. But we got there. So, there's a bit of vista with mine mushing away. Let me get my head out of the way and show you some truly beautiful views.
I very nearly just did what I was advised not to do. I was nearly going to walk on because there was a couple of lads up in the cairn, and I don't want to spoil their reward of getting up to the peak. So I was about to go straight down to the car park. I thought, no, it's not what you do. Come sit down. It's spitting on, but I don't care. I really don't care, because when you get the views coming around, like over here, it's all worth it. So, another tip for you when you're having a lakes walk: once you get to a point so you can settle down and have a sandwich, do so. Sit down, relax, take in the surroundings. And here we are, pretty much back at the beginning. And I thought I'd quickly do this because the weather's coming in. My battery's about down to 4%, so I thought I'd get something done now before we get down to the car park, which is literally about 30 metres down there. So I hope it's been of worthwhile to you. The weather's just coming in now. You can see over there. Ooh. So I think it's about time to get in the car, drive home, and have a lovely bath. Thanks so much for watching. Where next? We'll find out in the next edition of Robinson's Rambles. See you soon.